So this video is going to walk us through the Automoblox tire, and you can see right here it says it doesn't need to be created to exact dimensions. They don't tell you a lot of the how far to extrude this first part, but there are some dimensions that we do need to take a look at as we're coming through and doing this. A lot of them being in this area right here. So you can see I've already got my circle set up, the overall diameter, the distance between the outside and the inside, and this part here. One of the things they talk about is using the trim tool, which I do like the trim tool, but the problem with the trim tool is once you get things dimensioned, then when you use the trim tool, it kind of deletes those dimensions. So instead of using the trim tool, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make my things out of construction lines. And so I'm going to make my lines coming up like this, and I'm going to make sure my line is checked as I go to make my other lines. And then I can click on this line and again make it a construction line. Now this first line should have a vertical constraint on it, which it doesn't, but now it does. So now there's only two dimensions left, which are the distance, and it's not really a distance, it's more so an angle that we're setting up between here and here. So now that I've got this set up, instead of trimming out this area, what I can actually do is come in and draw over this area with a line tool. So I'm going to hit escape and take a look and see my construction line is still selected. So I'm going to unselect it. And now I can see without it being selected, I can come in here and I can draw in a line over these points. And that first one, not sure exactly what happened there, but it didn't get drawn the way exactly that I wanted it. Let's try it again. There we go. So again, there is probably a geometric constraint that it missed, and now you can see that I have this point. So I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude this outside part, 0.5, and again, they said we should make it a symmetric extrusion. So I'm going to make that 0.5, and then again my parts disappeared. Well, I did everything in one sketch, so I need to click on this little triangle, come to sketch 1, right click, and share my sketch. Now I can see that I can extrude the smaller triangle. Again, I want to make it symmetric, and I want to make it a little bit smaller. You can see in the directions, they talk about the extrusion here being symmetric. They have a 0.4 for this part. And when we look at how it should look overall as it gets patterned around, it's a little bit in from the outside edge. So when I make that, we can see that kind of looks how we want it to, being a 0.4 for the small part and a 0.5 symmetric for the outside part. Now I don't need this sketch anymore, it's just going to be kind of annoying, so I'm going to uncheck the visibility of that sketch. Let's take a look and see how many times. It looks like 15 times we used to pattern it. So we're going to come to circle pattern. The feature I want to select, again, I can select it in my browser window by hovering over it here and selecting it. Or I could have selected it by clicking on the part. So it's selected. The red arrow for rotation axis means we haven't clicked on anything yet. So something that is a circle going around, and type in the number 15. The last part that we have to do is this little ridge on the inside. And one of the easiest ways to do that is, again, to use our shared sketch to create this thin extrusion that runs around the inside of the tire. So we can actually go in and edit this sketch. And what we're going to do is just draw a circle coming and going to this point here. And now that we've done our extrusion, is basically that construction line. We probably could have also taken that construction line and made it a non-construction line. But so unchecking the visibility, I might have been a little premature before when I unchecked that. Now we can go to extrude, make sure we're getting the thin profile. And again, we want this to be symmetric, and we want it to be a number smaller, probably like 0.1, maybe even a little bit less than 0.1, maybe 0.05. Something that's going to give us a very thin line through the inside. That looks even smaller, maybe 0.01. Let's see how that looks. Okay, something smaller between 0.01 and 0.05. Whatever your kind of personal preference is, it's gonna just be a thin line around the outside. If you've taken any of the rubber tires off the rims with the Automoblox, uncheck the visibility, you'll see that kind of is what it looks like on the inside. Let's see if we can do a, I don't think it's gonna do a cool rotate. There we go. Oh, that's kind of what I wanted it to do. Going around like that. All right, and that is the Automoblox. Make sure we're saving it with the proper name tire, and thanks for watching.